Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the nerdiest competition ever created by the Language of Bromance team. In this corner, obsessed with Star Wars and anything with swords, Richard! And in this corner, obsessed with the Ninja Turtles and scared of anything from the ocean, Shawn! Brought to you as a Pod Bros exclusive in association with the LOB Army. Tonight's competition is a Language of Bromance draft.
What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we are speaking the language of bromance, but it is not bromance.
It's the bromance that goes to fomance. We're two enter and one leave because we're doing a Man Cave Collectables draft. Ready for this, Richard?
I am. I'm
so
ready.
If you don't know, and you should, what these are our drafts. They are NFL style, where we have 7 rounds, where we flip-flop picks back and forth. Whoever gets the first pick in the first round gets the first pick in the second round. Back in the day, we flipped pennies to see who won, and I won. So odd drafts, I get the first pick. Even drafts, Richard gets the first pick. And since this is an odd draft, the 47th in our list of drafts, I get the first pick. So what we're doing here is the Man Cave Collectibles. So we've done something like this before back in the day where it was our Man Cave draft, but you got like a working physical item. So you said, hey, I want a lightsaber. Guess what? You got an actual lightsaber. This draft is different. So you get an actual physical object, but it isn't what it is in like the make-believe world. So you say, hey, I want a lightsaber. You get a movie prop lightsaber. You don't get a working lightsaber.
You don't get an actual lightsaber that you can stab your friends and family with.
Exactly. So it's more safe. So you can be like, this was used in Empire Strikes Back and scene yada yada blah blah blah. Certificate here. But you wouldn't be able to stabby anybody. So with that, Richard, do you have anything to input before I pick my first item for my Man Cave Collectible draft?
No, I don't think I do. Please proceed.
All right, so I'm really excited. Whenever I think of, like, if I hadn't have an item in my man cave that I would want to point everybody to be like, I have this. Richard, it would be the thing that spawned my favorite IP. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is something I absolutely love. I'm collecting the new series now. I found the Leonardo first print one-off that they did back in 85 or 86. Which that's my most prized, I guess, comic, if you say. It's not worth much, but it has very good sentimental value.
Yeah.
But if I could have something with a little bit of value and some great sentimental value, it would be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1984 first printing #1.
So I'm curious, where would this be, like, in the room? Would it be on the wall? Would it be like in the dead center of the room, surrounded by a glass case and a little rope barrier around it? Like, where would this be?
I think if I could have the center of the room, I'd put it there. Realistically, like if you're looking at like my man cave, it'd probably be like on the wall, the focal point, the very first thing you see when you walk in. And of course, like you're thinking you'd have this in some kind of enclosure that keeps it safe. But I recently looked, so a 1984 #1 Turtles, it was a first printing, had water damage, currently is going for $2,000 on eBay.
That's not bad.
It's not terrible.
That's not terrible.
Water damage. So I think it's like a rating of probably like 8, 7, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure if you had a 9.6 rating one, it's probably, $5, $6 grand. But it'd be cool to have. There was a very small printing of those. It was an independent comic. Kevin Eastman actually just posted on April 16th. They call it Book Delivery Day or something like that. And
Okay.
that was the day at their Mirage Studios, which Mirage Studios was literally their living room.
Yeah.
They got their shipment of comic books. It was like I said, it was like 6,000 or 10,000 run. Like it's really, really small run. And to have one of those, back in the day, it cost like $2. And to have a copy of that that's in a great spot for you to show off would be awesome. Like I said, I've got one from '86, which is again not worth anything. It's a Leonardo one shot, but to have like that old comic book in there, especially if it was like high grade, would just be really cool to have. And I think it'd give me a little bit of inspiration too, because you think of where that came from. It was two guys who were aspiring comic book writers and drawers, and they just one day were dicking around and they made a comic, and they kind of made a parody of it, of the Daredevil universe. And it spawned this huge IP that Kevin Eastman still works on the comic today. Peter Laird was the other guy. He doesn't do a lot with it, but it spawned multiple generations of comics. It's done like 4 TV shows, multiple movies, and it's become something that's larger than life. And I think that just kind of is a very kind of, hey, you can do it too kind of thing. Everybody strikes gold every now and then. That's kind of what they got from this. So my number one would be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 from 1980.
Okay. So you're going with collectibles and whatnot. I have similar things, collectible wise, that I would want personally in my man cave. But for me, like, I want to try and figure out how to make this like a complete, all encompassing, situation for not only a way to showcase things that I have, but a way to, like I said, like my personal sanctorum. And in the center of this room, for me, the thing that I would want is something a little communal, I feel, but you can find some really, really nice and ridiculously priced ones of these. I want a nice, like, top of the rock gaming table, like a pen and like a pen and paper RPG gaming table.
I like that.
Have you seen some of these? Have you seen some of the like
the ones with like the drawers? Would you want it to be a straight like non-electronics? I've seen some that are electronic that are pretty legit too.
No, I would want the probably the electronic.
Okay, so you don't like physical screens show up, and so like the 5x5 squares would do, like, oh my gosh, like, okay, we're in mountains, and it's like, okay, it projects mountains and stuff like that on the screen.
Well, see, the ones that I've seen is basically like it kind of works like a Microsoft Surface.
Yeah, those are the ones I've seen.
Like almost like it's basically like a 50-inch, almost like a 50-inch TV, like laying flat on its back. The ones that I've seen, they like you were saying, they have drawers and USB ports at like 6 stations, and like drawers that you could like set books and stuff on, and little not a dice cup, but like a partitioned off area for each person to like roll dice and stuff on like felt. I've seen some that like cost like 10 grand, 8 grand. Like they get up there. But I feel like that would be an awesome, not only would it be like amazing to have, but I feel like it would be a way for you to get people in to look at all the other cool shit you have. Because I mean, what's the point in having that kind of space if you don't get to show it off? That's how I feel.
It gives you an excuse for an event in your man cave.
Exactly.
I like that. Because I mean, yeah, like most man caves, it's usually like it's your office or something like that. So not too many people get get to go in there for a reason. But you have this gaming table. I'm sure you could easily put some TVs up, and you got a bunch of people there to enjoy what you have. And it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know you had this. Oh, yeah, I got that. And tell the story, the 1,000th time of how you got whatever.
Yeah. And see, and then, and like I said, the way these tables work is like you could, if you have certain maps, you can upload them. If you have like a PDF copy of like a grid map, you can just put it on the table. And then everybody has their figures, and they can put their figures like right on it. and go
I think
through a
that'd be-
dynamically changing map.
And that would be nice too, because a lot of times whenever you're gaming, that's the thing it takes forever. It's like, all right, you guys are here. All right, give me 10 minutes. I'm going to draw the map.
Yep.
With what you're doing, it's like, hey, you're in this room. Poof, here's what you see. You don't know what else is in this building. You just know you're right here.
Yeah, you could just have like a TV behind you, be like, this is what you see. And
like
then
that.
be like, oh, this is where you are in relative to the rest of the dungeon. Boom. And then it's on the table. And then the screen behind you, you could be like, oh, you see this monster. Boom.
You know what'd be nice about that too is if your gaming table, each spot was like, it was your spot. Like, you know, hey, Shawn, this is your spot. It's a lockbox. I can take my stuff, leave it there.
Yeah.
It's like just an event to go see this table in itself.
But I feel like that would be like the centerpiece of the room. And then, people get up and wander around and be like, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's awesome. That's cool. Where'd you get this?
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I didn't really go with anything like kind of decoration of my man cave. I kind of wish I would have, but I think that's a good call and a good number one.
So that would be numero uno for me. Like that would be the thing that's in the dead center of the room.
I like it.
So chair wise, I'm kind of not really indifferent to the chairs. I mean, like I'm sure that the chairs will probably look cool, but the table I feel is going to be that thing.
Yeah, for chairs, if you could have like the ones with like surround sound speakers, so you could pump music through. So like you're in a jungle scene, you got like the jungle sound.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
I know some gaming groups take their stuff to that next level where they have like the ambient noise playing, and you could probably like mic up the GM too, so it makes it a lot clearer for what everybody hears, or maybe mic up everybody. That might not be a bad idea.
I mean, well. But then I feel like you're making it more of a production. Like if I was going to live stream the whole thing, then yeah, I'd probably do that.
I was just thinking because like recently when we game, like there's a lot of noise going on, so sometimes it can be hard to hear. So if you mic'd people up, you could at least kind of get like more focal point to your. I'm not saying to record. I'm just saying it makes it easier to hear everybody talking.
The only thing is that table wouldn't move, obviously. That table couldn't go anywhere because that table's probably like, I've got like probably like 12 cords running up through from the floor into the table legs.
This is, whenever I sell my house, this is your table too.
Yeah. Like I got to include the price of the table in with the price of the house. Be like, that table's not moving.
Non-nerd comes, it's like, what am I going to do with that? I can't even look at porn on that screen.
When I've got a full group over here, that table channels 15,000 volts. Because everybody's got laptops plugged into it and charging their phones on it. And I've got a 50-inch TV projecting shit on it. But no, I've looked online to see what some of them look like. There's one here I'm seeing for like 8,400.
Yeah, I know they get.
And it doesn't even have like all the like the drawer bells and whistles thing. It's got like the felt top. This isn't even with a screen in it.
Yeah, I know those things can get. It's kind of the sky's the limit when you see, like, especially if you start getting like custom built ones.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Yeah, see, I feel like the one I would want would probably be a custom built one.
Yeah, well, I think like you'd want like a dice tray for each one, so you roll your dice in that. Like,
yeah,
it'd be super convenient to play with that.
Yes.
I like that. I like that first pick.
I feel like that would be super fucking sweet. So yeah, there you go. There's my number one kick-ass gaming table.
I like it. All right, for my second round pick, like a lot of my things are going to be either kind of like these very specific collectible or kind of like a big event kind of collectible type thing. And this one's kind of one for me. Of the two of us, I'm bigger into sports, and I've mentioned some of these things before. But I'm a big baseball fan, and I root for a team that doesn't win all that often. I'm a huge fan of the Chicago White Sox, who have only won the World Series 3 times, Richard. And I was around for one of those. In 2005, I was in college. They had a great year. They went all the way, and they won the World Series. And when you win the World Series, you get a ring. Now, I've got a replica of this ring, which is cool to have. It's awesome. It's, metal, and it's pretty decent quality. But Richard, for me to have a actual 2005 World Series ring that is a legit like one that was given to the players, not a refurbished one or like one created from it, but I would even say like one of the players' rings would be super awesome. and you would have that on full display. So like the TMNT one, it would be right there in the middle of the room. This one would be kind of in my sports area of my man cave. And I would love to have this ring because it shows like so much that this team did. It's one of those things that, you know, if any sports fan comes in, at least what I look at, like I'm a big like ring guy. Like whenever they finish a series and like they say, oh, here's the rings for the NBA champions or baseball champions or hockey champions, I always like to look at them because they're always like pieces of art in themselves.
That's true. Very true.
And the White Sox one isn't too artsy. It's basically got the Sox logo, a black stone in the middle, and some rings around it. But I just think it'd be kind of like my sports thing. Like you think like each year when the baseball season kicks off, like you'd look at it, maybe take it out. That's the only time you wear it for game one of the series. And you get some cool like kind of momentum around that for it. Again, I know you're not a big sports fan, but I think the piece of art with it would be pretty sweet too. Like I said, a legit like it kind of sucks whenever you hear about like there's a lot of the 85 Bears or former football players who have to sell their rings because they're hungry.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to acquire this ring that way. Like this would be one I want to acquire because it's like
you don't want some ball player showing up at your house and being like, I was wanting to buy my ring back. I was in a really bad way.
Exactly.
Oh my God, how fucked up would that be? Has that ever happened? Where like a player shows up, he's like, I want to buy my ring back.
I think they've had people. So there was a baseball player who had to sell like all of his like MVP and like trophies like that because he was in a shitty spot, and they like basically put together a fund to buy those back to give them back to him.
Oh wow!
So in a roundabout way, it happens. But like with this, it'd be like I'm a big Paul Konerko fan. He was the first baseman for them when they won. Like I know he's never going to sell his, but if he was like, hey. Like I can't afford it either, but if I could acquire it this way, be like, hey, I want to auction my ring off, and you can spend like $150,000 and it goes to charity, and then you get the ring. Like that would be the way I'd want to get it.
Yeah,
but because I mean that's the other thing too. It's like you don't want to show somebody this that's basically personal property of somebody. Like they've like something you haven't achieved that you just got because of money. Like I wouldn't want to be around that. And be like, oh yeah, so. The baseball player that I got this from was like in a really shitty spot. I got it for like 1/10 of its value. Fuck that guy, right? Like I'd much rather be like, oh yeah, I bought that and gave the money to charity.
Yeah, that way you feel good about yourself on top of having something awesome.
Yeah. So
that makes
for my
sense.
Second round pick, I would like a 2005 White Sox World Series ring.
All right, Shawn. So. Kind of going in the same vein, but this one's not for other people. This one's for me. Shawn, for my second round pick, I've kind of slowly started to build it now. Or I kind of have it now, but I need to take what I have and put it on 11, Shawn. For my second pick, I need an ultimate PC desktop setup. I need a corner of the room with like 6 monitors, 2 PCs. I want a full on, basically like a self-contained studio in one corner of this room.
So it'd be like your podcast studio too, like
it'd be a podcast / live stream / video recording / audio recording.
Nice. So you have like all the like the top line video, top line audio.
Yeah, I would. But I mean, I love the computer I have now. I put a lot of work. I put work into it. I put money into it. I love this thing. But I need to take this and put it I need to take it to 11, Shawn. That's what I need to do. Right now I have 3 screens in front of me. I want double that.
You want 6 screens?
I want 6 screens. I don't even know what I put on the other 3. No idea. But you know what? They're there, and I can put stuff on them if I want.
Yeah. BBC News? I don't even care about BBC News.
Nope.
It's on 1/6.
Yep. What's that? Al Jazeera? Don't give a shit. I'm watching porn on this one. So if you're talking cost-wise, I mean, when you're talking about building a desktop, the sky's the limit on this. I mean, you could go 8-10 grand for just one tower, let alone 2. Because I would want 2. I would have one that would run recording stuff, and then one strictly for basically a business PC and a pleasure PC.
Oh yeah, I gotcha. How long? So when you get the top of the line PC, how long before it is kind of out of date and you have to do work on it?
How long before you'd have to get something else to put into it?
Yeah,
I'd say, well, I mean, it depends. They recently had a really big thing when it came to video cards in the last year. So, NVIDIA released a new series of video cards, but I would say probably 5 minimum
5
to
years.
10. Yeah. Like the
bad.
setup you have would probably last you at least 5 to 10 years before you had to buy something else to add to it, or buy something to change out to stay at that, like top tier, but you wouldn't necessarily need it. I would say probably 7 to 10 would probably be more people's speed before you really are like, oh, I need to, and I'm sure, a lot of it would probably be little things. Like,
Yeah.
okay, like the PC I have now, I've had for,
Like 3 years?
I've had it for I've had it. Do what?
Was it like 3 years you've had that?
I think it's been 4. And at this point, I'm considering getting some more storage for it. And that's about it. Like just, getting another hard drive.
Yeah, that's not too bad then.
No, I mean, like that's a less than $100 purchase.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, price wise, I mean, you could go 10, 12 grand if you so chose. It's just kind of, how big is your imagination?
Yeah.
And also like, where are you
budget?
Yeah. Like where are you buying from? Are you building it yourself, or are you paying somebody to build it for you? I'm never too big on Alien. Like they have those Alienware PCs, like the ultimate game. And like, not really. There are a lot of smaller companies that will custom build you stuff. Plus, you could have like amazing. You can get an amazing case for them. I've seen some where the entire desktop is set. The case looks like the box from the puzzle box from Hellraiser.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean, you could get it. I mean, you could put bells and whistles on it. You could have LED lights all running through it. The whole thing could look fucking amazing if you so chose. But that would be number 2 pick for me. Like I said, the first pick was for other people. Second pick is for me. That's what I need in my cave. I need my own personal studio.
All right, so for my 3rd round pick, I'm going to jump back into a rare comic that would be really cool to have. It's kind of, about 8 years ago, maybe it was the hottest comic out there. If you had this comic, like people are saying, like you could retire on selling this comic. It's definitely nosedived since then. It was created by an independent group. It was through Image, so it wasn't one of the big Marvel DC. It kind of came out of nowhere, and it's kind of, again, that story of kind of somebody taking it's kind of like the romantic story of somebody working hard, trying some things out and then finally getting something that catches. Richard, I would love to have, sitting pretty close to my TMNT number 1, I would love to have the Walking Dead number 1 comic. So the first printing, of course, obviously.
Of course.
I looked, and like,
would you want it signed?
That's a good point on those comics. Would I want them signed? I would say yes. I like the TMNT number 1, like having it signed by Peter Laird and Eastman, and this one being signed by Kirkman and the guy who drew it is pretty sweet.
Now here's my question: do you want to buy them signed, or do you want to buy them and then get them signed?
Well, probably.
Obviously, the experience of like getting to meet, like Robert Kirkman, for example, the experience of getting to meet him on top of signing your book would be great. But if if somebody was just like, here's, you have the money, and somebody's like, hey, I have this, and it's already signed.
Yeah, I think if you gave me the choice, I'd rather have it and then get it signed and be there for it.
Okay.
I've never got to really experience kind of because we went to the last Kansas City Planet Comic Con and we did a panel, so I missed getting in line to get Eastman to sign my comic.
I know.
So I missed out on that. But to have that opportunity would be pretty sweet, especially one of the, like, you show up with a number 1 TMNT or a number 1 Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Like, those guys are going to be like, is this fucking real? Or sign it, sweet.
Yeah.
But again,
do you think they'd sign it all like careful? They'd be like, I
don't know. That's a good point. Like
I always wonder that. Like, let's say you're, you're okay. So you're, Kevin Eastman, somebody hands you that book. Like, do you think that know what the book itself is worth? And then knowing that, you'd be like, oh my God, this isn't mine. Like, this is somebody else's and it's worth a lot of money. Like, I should be super careful with this. Or are they just like, here, wherever, fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah, they like accidentally tear the page or something like that.
Oh my God. Would
that make it worth more? You take a picture, like, this was ripped by Robert Kirkman.
He'll write underneath it, be like, sorry, I ripped this.
But I think it'd be cool to have. It's one of those things again too. Like, somebody, like, people know the show, so they're going to see that and be like, yeah, that's the number 1. And it's just like any kind of collectible thing. It's one of those that you would look at from time to time and be like, look for, like, when you look for to inspiration. That's kind of like a lot of the stuff I have is like, I want to look at it and kind of get inspired. And so that would definitely be one of them. And that's The Walking Dead number 1.
That's, a lot of comics for you. I'm surprised. You haven't done a lot of props and stuff yet, which is where I'm going with my number 3 pick. Now I've got my things. Now it's time to decorate, Shawn. So there's one thing that I need, and I need it in a glass case. And this is something that I'm trying to think if I would, like, what kind of replica I would want this to be. But Shawn, the thing I would want, it was one of my favorite 6-issue series when I was a kid, 6-issue Marvel series. And now it's culminated into the thing that everybody's gone crazy over. Shawn, I need the Infinity Gauntlet.
The gauntlet itself?
Yes, I need the gauntlet, and I need it in a case.
Nice. So are you wanting? So obviously there's multiple.
No, I don't want it out of plastic.
No, are you wanting like movie prop, like, used?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Or do you want a, like, replica, top quality created one? Like, I think,
like, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to go with. I'm gonna have to go with a screen used. I need a screen used gauntlet. Because
I asked that because I don't know what the screen used ones look like, because I'm sure there's a lot of post production work on it.
Yeah,
so the one they have it may be kind of a metal, but it may not be very good quality. But you look at, like, because when we went to Ming Chen's studio, we got to see a Freddy Krueger claw glove.
Yes, and that was metal.
That was metal. So, you get a screen used one, it may not be metal.
Good point.
I do like the idea of being like, oh, you see this scene here? This was the gauntlet used. I do like that kind of idea.
See, to me, like, having a cool looking one is beat out by saying, hey, that was in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Me personally.
I agree. I mean, I could see it either way. Like, if I was going to get one made, though, like, I'd want, like, super good. Like, you're looking at, like, quality metal. You're looking at, like, real gems. Like, you're looking at something that would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to build. If you're going kind of the non-actual used.
That look like Peter Dinklage.
This was actually made by Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
Who knew?
So I just did a quick Google on one. Apparently, I'm trying to get to the site, but it's not wanting to open. Apparently on Google, there's some website that's selling a Infinity Gauntlet for $930.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
If it's like good quality.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing is I wish I could see it. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I'd want. I'd want an Infinity Gauntlet. That to me, I feel like that kind of encompasses, you know, the Marvel movies today. It tugs on my nostalgia heartstrings a little bit because in terms of like that was kind of the first big. The Infinity Gauntlet was the first, series was the first big like Marvel crossover that I read, where I'd read X-Men and I would read Silver Surfer and I'd read Captain America and Daredevil, and then all of a sudden there's this thing where they're all in the same book, and it was like, what? They all live in the same world. They're all together. There's Wolverine. He's standing next to Spider-Man, and then Thor's hanging out with the Silver Surfer, and Silver Surfer's chilling on Doctor Strange's couch. This is fucked up. But so yeah, that was the first kind of like big, Marvel universe encompassing thing that I read. So that's why it holds a special place for me, which is why when they were saying that that's where we're going with the movies, I was like, oh,
nice. Yeah. You were kind of already in the bag for it.
Oh yeah. Oh, hands. Yeah. So that's what I want. That's pick number 3 for me. My first collectible that I'm getting, it's going to have to be that.
So for my 4th round pick, I'm going to go with my first movie prop, and I would like this to be actually one used. If I could pick when it was used, it would be right when the character first gets to some hotel and puts down a big metal coin for his room. Richard, I want to get one of the John Wick coins that they use throughout this series for John Wick. And like
you just want one?
I just want one, and I want it to be the coin that he uses when he first gets to the hotel.
Okay, so just that. So not you're not saying just any coin, that specific coin.
Yeah, because it's the one, and I'm sure like they probably use multiple coins for multiple scenes, but the one that made it in the movie is the one I'd want because you could print that out, him sliding it over. Like that'd be cool to have like in a little, kind of scenic scene or kind of like display where you see the coin, like the coin maybe rotates because I think there's stuff on both sides, and then you just have that scene playing on repeat on a little screen behind it.
Yeah.
Because then you go in, you be like, oh, well, that's cool. You're like, oh yeah, you know what? It was from that scene. This is the exact coin that was used. In a lot of these drafts recently, I get really big on John Wick because it's a show that just kind of sparks my fancy. And I think that's one of those things where like seeing that's like a unique idea, it's a unique story. It wouldn't really inspire me too much, I think, to write or do anything, but it would just kind of have a cool little like nod to something that I didn't think was going to be anything that really kind of turned out to be something.
Yeah, yeah. See, like, okay, so if it was me, I would want like a bunch of coins, but maybe that one specific coin kind of like in a place of prominence.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be neat. Like you could have all the coins like spread out below it, but the risk you run there is like what happens if you're cleaning and you bump it
and you knock into it.
The other coins. Yeah. You're like, which one is it? Is it?
Well,
yeah.
Well, there's got to be something you could do to like, you put some of that like fluorescent paint on it, or cheaper scenario, jerk off on it.
It's got
and
my
then
seed.
When you're like, which one's mine? And then you shine a black light and be like, that's the one. Found it.
You could probably put it in like a case too, like one of those clear cases.
Yeah.
So that way, if it did fall, it'd be very clear.
I mean, I think my way, saves you a couple bucks, but
that's true.
And it's also a little more fun.
Well, and makes it a little bit more personal. But for my 4th round pick, like I said, I want the John Wick coin that was used as he first gets to the Continental Hotel. All
right. Okay. So, I love comics, but I'm gonna stick with movie props for right now because for my next pick, I did Marvel. Now I need my DC, and for my DC, I need a screen used bat suit. Now I know what you're thinking, Shawn. What bat suit are you gonna want? Do you want Adam West bat suit? No, I don't. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a great suit. Do
Batman
I want Christian
forever
Do I want Val Kilmer's bat suit?
with the nipples?
No, that was George Clooney's bat suit.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that was Clooney's bat suit. Clooney's bat suit had the nipples. No, I don't want the nipples. Shawn, I want 1989 Michael Keaton's bat suit.
I like
That's
it.
the one I want. And
Do you want the one
from
when it was used? You just want it from the movie, like screen used, or
I want a screen used bat suit. I'm indifferent as to where it was used because I mean, if they tell me when, then I can just get a picture of it get a picture of it and then just put the picture next to it, and then just be like, oh, it was there. Like I don't really care when it was, but for me, instead of putting it inside a glass case or whatever. So in 1989's Batman, when he opens up this like vault door that he has the suit in, that's where I'd put it. I'd want to kind of like slightly reconstruct this, this like I said, it's like a bank vault door that he's got that has the suit behind it. So that's what I want with the door propped open and the suit mounted in there. And like I said, like I could put like a picture in front of it just to show, hey, this suit was here's the suit in the movie.
So better question, would you wear the suit?
Yes. I don't understand why that's why did that sound like, did that seem like a hard question?
Not really. I mean, you might worry about,
of course I would wear the goddamn suit.
Tarnishing the value a little bit, but
it's mine. What am I going to do? Sell it?
True. I think of all these things like these aren't things I'm selling. Like these things are going in the will, and the kid's like, you can't sell it. You got to keep this forever.
Exactly. Like okay, like that, like your World Series ring. Like, are you gonna put it on your hand at any point in time?
Oh yeah. Like I
of
still
course
like
you
I'd
are.
wear it, like once a year for like the opening day, or like that'd be kind of cool. Like if you were invited to something big, maybe wearing it. That might be a little gauche though, because it's somebody else's name. But yeah. I invite
Fuck
you to
yeah, I'm
dinner.
wearing
You come
that
out in the
bat suit.
Batman outfit.
I would.
Table for two, Bruce Wayne. There's no Bruce. I know. I'm just kidding. My name's Richard.
Oh, I'd fucking love it. I would wear the shit out of that bat suit. Just hang out,
Do you have
watch
sex in
TV.
it?
I don't think my wife would appreciate it.
Babe, let me get in the bat cave. No. And please don't refer to my vagina as a bat cave.
And also, don't talk like Christian Bale. That's a Michael Keaton bat suit. You talk like Michael Keaton, God damn it. Yes, dear.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
So yeah, so out of all the, so I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I like Christian Bale's bat suit. Like I thought it looked nice. It looked decent. But there's something about that, like that Michael Keaton bat suit to me feels like it's just fucking straight out of the goddamn comic book.
Well, and it's kind of my first bat suit too, and like the animated series had that similar look to it too. So I'm just kind of hooked on it.
Yeah,
I'm same boat. I did really like the Ben Affleck one though. It looked pretty good.
It did. That one did look pretty good. So yeah, I'll say that. But yeah, like I said, like that bat suit, that Tim Burton fucking bat suit, just seems like they just fucking straight from the page. And I loved it. Loved the way it looked. So that's got to be the suit that I go with.
Nice. I like it.
So the suit that I will purchase and, of course, wear is Michael Keaton's 1989 bat suit. And I need it from Batman, not Batman Returns.
Were they different? They weren't that different though, were they?
No, I don't think they were different at all, actually.
Okay. You just want it from Batman.
I want it from Batman.
All right, for my fifth round pick, Richard, I'm going to pick one more sporting item. This is an item that was used in a game from 1961.
Okay.
It's I like it because it's again, I like to have things that are very inspirational, kind of in my office or man cave. Like you look at it and you just kind of get like a quick recharge. You know, it's kind of a totem. And this is one I think that would have a little bit of that. So in 1961, Richard, there was a man by the name of Roger Maris who was chasing Babe Ruth's single season home run record. Now, this was a guy who I don't think he ever hit more than 50 home runs. He was playing for the New York Yankees, which was Babe Ruth's team. He was playing with another player, Mickey Mantle, who everybody loved, and everybody thought Mickey Mantle was going to break this record. And people sent Maris death threats. They hated him because he wasn't truthfully a Yankee. And it took a toll on him. But in 1961, Richard, he broke Babe Ruth's record, which was 60 home runs, and he hit 61 home runs. The caveat to that, Richard, which is this is a big kind of like shittiness for him, is either that year or the year before they added, I think, 8 extra games to the season. And the commissioner at the time says any record that is broken after the traditional length of the season is going to have an asterisk. And they put that in because this guy was getting so close to breaking the hollow record of Babe Ruth. And so he broke the record, but again, it was in this 8-game window. So for the life of Roger Maris, he was the home run king with an asterisk. But what I would like to have of his is the bat that he used to hit his 61st home run. And I think what I would like about that is kind of just, it's kind of like the thought of like, no matter what anybody says, no matter what happens, you could look at that and be like, listen, I'm a guy who did something that no one else did, and kind of get that rejuvenation, that, kind of that go fuck yourself attitude, like I'm doing me kind of thing. And it just kind of ties to like a very big, important piece of baseball history. If anybody gets the chance, go check out the HBO movie 61. It's a great baseball movie. And that's kind of what kind of got me into Roger Maris, years ago. But yeah, my 5th round pick is Roger Maris's bat that he used to hit the 61st home run from the 61 baseball season.
I like it. All right, Shawn, next pick. Where are we at? 4? Or am I at 4?
Number 5.
Oh, I'm at 5. Oh, shit. Okay, number 5. Now, I kind of need you to help me with this a little bit because I know what I want. I just need to figure out what I want to do with it. So, Shawn, for pick number 5, I want a screen used. I'm going to television now. I want a screen used TARDIS.
Okay.
I want a TARDIS.
You want a police box? I
want a police box.
Do you have like a year that you want this from, like early, or do you want like which doctor? I guess
I think I might have to go with Matt Smith, and it's just because there's a slight difference in the color. If you look at Tennant's is a little darker, and Matt's is a little brighter blue. So that's just purely aesthetic, not, any sort of personal preference or anything.
Now, the only concern I have with these is, this is an item that was kind of more for visual, like it didn't have a practical use in the show. They go up and they open it. So
right.
Would it be kind of not high quality? Like, would it get broken and transferring from the set to your house? Or would these be fairly high quality?
It's possible, but I mean, it did get, in terms of like, it was still functional. Like, not functional in the time machine sense, but functional in the, big blue box that people had to run in and out of. And
yeah, that's true.
I'm sure it's fairly durable. So my question to you, and like I said, this is why I want you, this is what I want. Now the question is, it's there. Do I want to do something with it? Like, I don't know if I want it to just sit there. Do I want to put something in it? So that way,
it's where you put your elliptical and your other things that never get used. It becomes like a pseudo closet. I think it's, if you had a legit
that's a thing. Would I put it up against a wall and then have it go into another room?
Ooh, I like that call. Maybe that's how you get into your man cave.
Oh God. Chris Hardwick. Chris Hardwick has that as the entrance to his man cave.
Oh, nice.
Not a screen used TARDIS, but he has like the doorway is a TARDIS.
It looks like a TARDIS kind of thing.
And it has like the light up top that actually like the light blinks and like it makes the sound. I don't know if there's like a button that you press, or I don't remember how it works, but
I think that would be cool. Or like you said, maybe that's if your man cave is split up. Like here's your, like you said, your top of the line PC area. You walk through that to get to the pseudo game room where the gaming table is and stuff. That'd be kind of cool. Like split the room up that way.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, again, it depends on the quality too. Because like if that door is constantly getting open and closed, if it's something that can't hold up to it, that would be a concern. But let's say that's not. That's what I would do. I'd use it to split up your gaming room and your PC room.
See, but I feel like if I did that, wouldn't I have to kind of damage it a little bit?
What do you mean damage it? Just so somebody else doesn't?
No, like damage it in order to like put it inside a doorway.
Yeah, because those only have one doors, don't they? One door.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd have to like cut one side of it or unhinge it somehow so it would open.
So I mean, is it worth getting the? I don't know. See, these are the issues I have. But anyway, this is what I want, so that's what I want. I'll figure out what to do with it later, but that's what I want.
I mean, you can't go wrong in way. If it's high quality, making it some kind of usable thing in your cave would be sweet. If it's just in the corner and people get to take pictures of it, that's cool too.
Yeah.
All right, Richard, for my 6th round pick, this is something that's fairly new, and I actually have a first edition of this, but I don't have a first edition signed. And so the movie came out a couple of years ago, or maybe about a year and a half ago. It was Ready Player One, right?
Right.
I fell in love with this concept, this movie, this book, super hard.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the book when it came out because I'm like, oh, it's a movie. I'm going to read the book, see what I think. Read the book, loved it so much that I bought a first edition of it. Again, like it's like, oh my God, was that expensive? No, it was like $15. But I gave that to my son for Christmas last year with a pretty long paragraph in it. Because to me, this was like, if this was a book that I read when I was younger, like I feel like the sky's the limit for what my creativeness could be. Because this is a book that is very kind of, you take a kid who's, got pretty much nothing and he can aspire to anything. Very much kind of like an inspirational book. The movie's like that to an extent too.
Yeah.
But to be able to have the book, a first edition signed, and it'd be one of those situations where I would love to meet the author and sit with him and have him sign it, talk with him a little bit and see kind of what his thoughts and whatnot were. And this is one you'd have on display, open. You got a picture with him next to it where he was signing it. And again, just would be kind of a cool little thing to have. So again, another very inspirational item. For my 6th round pick, it'd be a first edition hardcover Ready Player One book signed.
You have I'm picturing your room in my head. There's a lot. You got a lot of stuff like either on the walls or in a cave.
It's very museum-y. You're going to go look at some stuff. Few things you can touch, but most of the stuff you're kind of looking at.
So let's see. Do I want to find something more tactile? All right. Yes, I do want something more tactile because 6th round pick. I know what I want for number 7, so I feel like number 6. My number 6 actually kind of interlocks with my number 1 pick because one of the walls in this cave is going to be my library. It's going to be my book library, and I'm going to have all the books, Shawn. All the books will be there. Oh my God, let's play this game. Oh, let me just grab the book for that.
Like an electronic, like a delivery system.
Oh, that'd be I don't need to go that far. No, because I like the thought of perusing the shelves and sliding a book out.
So you just want a library wall of what every book ever made, every gaming book?
Maybe not every gaming book, but all of my favorites, and then some. Because that's a lot. There's a lot of tabletop. There's a lot of pen and paper tabletop games, Shawn. There's a lot.
Well, the buddy of ours that we go and play in his basement, he's got a wall he built that has all his gaming books and miniatures, and it's pretty impressive.
It's
Like,
very
I'm sure
impressive.
there's probably like 80% of those books he hasn't opened in probably a decade.
Probably.
But it's still really cool. And I've just recently started getting into like Starfinder is a new Paizo game that they created about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've started to buy the Adventure Pass just to have on my shelf all the Adventure Pass. Because it's kind of it's a very collectible type thing.
It is a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, and
there's
plus like my dad had the same thing. My dad had, a wall of books and 12-year-old me, perusing through the shelves. I was like, oh, what's this? And I get to slide that out and thumb through it. And
it's a dying thing too now, because like PDFs is very convenient, because like, especially if it's not your place that you're playing, if I have to go somewhere, if I have to take 12 books, that's a lot of crap. So it's like, why not just take it on a PDF? It's cheaper. It's more easily, portable. And again, when you're playing, there's probably 3 books you'll need in the night. So if you're bringing 12, you're not even using most of them.
Well, and also depending on the quality of the PDF, like a lot of them are searchable. Like you can keyword search for stuff on there.
It's so much easier.
Yeah, and it's it's easier for you to look stuff up. I do, but I mean, me personally, like I like having. I think just seeing the books, number one, is impressive. But I like the feeling of flipping through a book. There's a nostalgia to it for me. The tactileness of thumbing through a gaming book, looking shit up, or seeing, or like you're looking for something and then you read something that you didn't know. Like that's always nice. Stuff that you would normally gloss over if you're just, hitting the forward arrow key on your keyboard. So yes, I would want a gaming library with a lot of books, with a whole bunch of books that I could peruse the shelves, and like if I wanted to relax and like flip through a book, I could
just grab one and go.
Yeah.
All right, Richard, for my money shot pick, 7th round, like I said, I've got some things in here that are just kind of cool collectibles, some things that are pretty inspirational, but this is one that I almost bought. I actually almost bought this thing.
Oh.
Because it is, like I talked about totems, this would be a totem for me, for our podcast, for my writing, for tons of stuff. Richard, back in 2016, we went to Chicago, Illinois, for Podcast Movement, and there we got to meet the one and only Kevin Smith, and he wore a jersey like he usually does. Mm-hmm. I don't really, not that I don't like this thing, I haven't really seen it yet, but it was a homage to the Buckaroo Banzai movie, and I didn't even know that. Like I saw it and was like, oh, that's cool. Not my thing yet. I just got the movie recently. I'm gonna try and watch it. But he was selling his jersey just through his website for like $400, $500. It was like a authentic Kevin Warren shirt, and it was this one from Podcast Movement. Uh-huh. And the reason I like this is because it's one of those things that life, work, our hobbies and things like that we're trying to make stuff. Like every now and then you kind of think, oh shit, like what am I doing? Should I keep going? Should I keep going? Should I keep swimming? And just to have that kind of in the corner, like right up on near my computer, would be a nice, you look up after editing or look up after, something and, getting stuck on something you're writing and see that and just get that extra drive to keep going. It's probably sad that you need those things in life, but it would just be kind of cool to have. And again, it's one of the guys that's helped inspire us to do a ton of stuff. And it's from a specific moment where we got to meet him. So I would say for my 7th round money shot collectible item, this one is specifically more just for me, would be this Kevin Smith jersey from Podcast Movement, the homage to Buckaroo Banzai.
I like it. All right, Shawn. Well, my money shot pick, not really a surprise. There isn't really much else I can say about it other than I'll say what it is, and then you'd be like, yep. And then I'll be like, because it is. And then you'd say, yeah. So here we go, Ray. Money shot pick. Han Solo blaster.
Ooh, okay. I would thought you would go with one of the lightsabers. But
I thought about that too. But I feel like, okay, here's why I went with the blaster instead. The lightsabers are, of course, 100% iconic, but they're not overly distinctive. Like if I showed you Luke's saber and Darth Vader's, Darth Vader's saber and Mace Windu's saber, like you can't pick them out of a lineup. If I lined up, lightsabers that Ben Kenobi, Luke, Darth Vader, Mace Windu used on screen, if I line those up for you and I asked you, tell me which one's which, I don't think you could do it.
Yeah, unless you're like really into it. I mean, you might be like, I think
unless
that
you're
one's
super
that
into
one,
it.
But yeah.
Although you would be able to pick out Mace Windu's because his is the one that says bad motherfucker on it.
Yeah, that would help.
So that one you could get. So that's your freebie. So Shawn, like I said, it's not overly distinctive. Han Solo's blaster is super distinctive. So great character, number one. Like I said, I don't need to explain why when it comes to this, because I'm like, it's Han Solo's blaster. But to answer your question, that's why I picked his blaster over a lightsaber. Because I felt like it was much more distinctive than just having a lightsaber. Because then you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, oh, whose is that? Oh, what movie was it in? I just show you Han Solo's blaster. You're like, that's fucking Han Solo's blaster. I don't care when he used it. That's Han Solo's.
I think that's good. I think it kind of goes against the default, too. Because I think most people are like, oh, my God, I want Luke Skywalker's lightsaber.
Right.
Darth Vader's lightsaber. This is like, nope, Han Solo. It's kind of lower on the tier of like first things to think about. But I think it's got a more like, awe power when you see it.
I feel that way, too. Yeah, I agree.
Well, I've only got 3 and but. So I've got Silent Bob's coat from Clerks. I thought that'd be kind of a cool little movie prop.
Mm-hmm. I had a signed Clerks poster was in there.
Nice. Game of Thrones, Jon Snow's Longclaw. That would be kind of cool to have hanging up somewhere.
I had a myriad of swords. Yeah, I've got Link's sword from fucking Legend of Zelda, like his sword and shield from Legend of Zelda. There's pick a sword. And I'd want it.
And the last item I have was another baseball thing. So in the World Series, Scott Pasendick hit a walk-off home run. If I could have that ball, that would be really cool. I'm sure he probably possesses it. But that'd be another cool kind of iconic moment. I saw the moment live. Would bring back a lot of emotion seeing it. So it'd be that ball. So what did you have for some and butts?
Aside from the ones I just said, I had lightsabers on there. I had an Iron Man helmet on there. Like a screen used Iron Man helmet, I think would probably be pretty sweet. This was kind of an odd pick, but I think it would be cool to have like a working Jarvis system.
That'd be neat, kind of like a actual AI system.
Yeah, like an AI system, basically like Google Home, but just put it in Jarvis's voice, or Alexa, but put it in Jarvis's voice.
All right, well, let me run through some of these real quick. So for my first round pick, I had the TMNT comic number 1, the White Sox 2005 World Series ring, Walking Dead number 1, John Wick coin, Roger Maris' 61st home run bat, first edition hardcover Ready Player One signed, and Kevin Smith jersey from Podcast Movement. And Richard, for your first pick, you had gaming table. Second round pick, Ultimate PC desktop. Third round pick, Infinity Gauntlet. Fourth round pick, movie used a bat suit from the 1989 Batman movie. A screen used TARDIS. Round number 6, a library with a ton of gaming books. And seventh round money shot pick, a Han Solo blaster.
Perfect.
Like it. Well, Richard, for this draft, as we're closing it out, what are your Richard's closing thoughts?
If anybody wants to contribute to our Patreon so that way we could get any of these things, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I did the math, and I think any of these were only like 99.9% away from getting it. So we're almost there.
Almost.
All right, let me do a little bit of housekeeping before we close this out. Visit our website, we're at languagebros.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com. Like us on Facebook. And remember, we are part of the best place to hang out in a man cave in a podcast arena, the Pod Bros Network.
Because that's the man cave of podcasts that's on the internet.
Love it. All right, was there anything else before I close her out?
Nope.
All right, well, that's all the Bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And I say we eat the beaver.
Nailed it.